Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Ray. In today's video, I'm going to walk you through the main ways to factor step by step with examples that you will actually understand. This first video goes over the simple ways to factor, but in part 2, there will be more complicated examples and methods, so make sure you go and watch that video as well. By the end of these two videos, you will know how to recognize which method to use instead of just guessing. First, I wanted to explain what factoring is. Factoring means rewriting an expression as a product. So you're basically taking your original expression and breaking it down into smaller pieces that you can then multiply by each other to go back to that original expression you once had. I know it sounds complicated, but it's actually very simple. The first method I want to show you is how to factor out the greatest common factor. And it's important that you know that the first step in factoring will always be to check for a GCF. So the GCF, very important definition for you to know, is the largest number or variable that divides every term. And we say number or variable because sometimes your terms will share a largest number or a largest variable or even a largest number and variable. Let's take a look at this first example. We have 8x cubed plus 12x squared. The way I like to do it is that I like to first take my coefficients and factor them out. So I have 8 and 12. What are the factors of 8? 1 times 8 and 2 times 4. What are the factors of 12? 1 times 12, 2 times 6, and 3 times 4. So immediately, you will notice that 8 and 12 share many factors. They share 1, they share 2, and they share 4. But if you memorize and remember the definition of GCF, you will notice that it is the largest two numbers that are shared by every term. And the largest number here is 4. So we're going to be using 4. Okay, we did step 1. But we also need to remember that it's not just a number. It can also be a variable. And if we take a look at 8x cubed and at 12x squared, we will notice that they both have x's. Again, the way I like to do it is I like to take my x cubed and split it up. X cubed is the same as x times x times x, and x squared is the same as x times x. So how many x's do both of these share? Well, we see one here, one here, one here, one here. Perfect. We know that x squared is shared by the 2. But what about this x that's left over? Well, we're going to have a remainder for 8x cubed and no remainder for 12x squared. Now let's go ahead and combine it so that we can factor. Perfect. What is the greatest common factor? The greatest common factor is 4 and x squared. So the greatest common factor is going to be 4x squared. Perfect. Now we can write our parentheses. What goes inside the parentheses? Well, it's actually very simple. For 8, 2 and x are going to go inside of the parentheses because we had a remainder of 2 here and a remainder of x. So 2x. And for 12, 3 will go in with no x's because there are no x's left over. So it's just going to be plus 3. And now we've officially factored out 8x cubed plus 12x squared. Again, you always have the option of checking your work by foiling in. So 4x squared times 2x is 8x cubed, and 4x squared times 3 is 12x squared. This right here is the same as this up here, so we know that we've factored correctly. And that's how you do it. For this second example, I'm going to go ahead and give you the opportunity to do it on your own. You can pause the video, but this right here is the answer. That is the answer to number 2. Quickly, I'm going to explain it. Again, you take your 2 coefficients and you find the factors. Then you need to find the largest factor or the largest number in both, which is 5. Perfect, you did part 1, but there are also variables, and we know that GCF accounts for variables as well. You take y squared and you break it up, and that's y times y. You take y, and that's just y. You can immediately pull out one of the y's from each. You're left with one y here, you're left with nothing here. So you combine your You combine your greatest common factors, which are 5 and y, to get 5y. And then inside your parentheses for 15, which is the first one, you're going to have 3 and the y that was left over, so 3y. And then for 20, you're just going to have 4, so 4. And then the reason this is minus is because this up here is also negative. So that is the answer. If you did not understand this video and have any further questions, please use the comments to do so. I will be reading them and answering your questions accordingly. I hope you enjoyed this video, and make sure you go ahead and watch part 2. Thank you.